Captain Forest here, and in today's video I'm going to be going over both these combatants to see who would win more often than not in a cross-verse situation. Quicksilver versus Sonic. Now, these versions, I'll be using Quicksilver from the movies, of course from the Fox X-Men series, and I'll be using movie Sonic. Now, if you guys are new to my channel, please leave a like, comment down below, and of course subscribe for the content. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead, dive in, give you guys a summary on both these combatants and talk a bit about their scaling, and then near the end of the video I'm going to go ahead and chop it up and give my thoughts on who I think wins more often than not in a cross-verse situation. So Quicksilver demonstrates a feat where he was able to punch around Apocalypse. The force behind those punches was also calced around 0.12 tons of TNT. There was also another calc that was also calced around 0.63 tons of TNT, aka small building level. So both these calcs are in the same ballpark, but it's just one calc ranges higher than the other, which is very impressive. Now moving on to speed, Quicksilver easily has relativistic speeds. He was able to evacuate all the mutants out of the mansion before the mansion exploded, and also before the explosion was even able to move and completely cover the whole area. I will leave a link in the description of the calculations and the feats and all that good jazz, so you guys can check that out. I'm going to go ahead and talk about some powers and abilities. Now, of course, being a speedster, Quicksilver's demonstrated some inertia manipulation. His speed will cause collateral damage as he can run and knock over a group of armed men by running past them whilst moving at a faster speed. He does not harm Charles, Eric, or Logan when defeating the guards, which is pretty impressive. Now, of course, he does have some kinetic energy manipulation. He moves so fast that kinetic energy, inertia, friction, pressure, and vectors have no effect on him. This causes weight and hardness of objects and people being non-existent to him. Now in the first movie, in the final fight, Sonic faces off against Dr. Eggman. Sonic starts to piece up Eggman's drone with homing attacks, and Sonic performs one final homing attack which destroys Eggman's drone and sends him into a portal, leaving him in the Mushroom Hill. This is impressive because the destructive force behind Eggman's lasers that came from his drone was calced around the large building to the city block levels of attack potency, and Sonic scales to this as he was able to destroy the drone. Sonic's emotions trigger a power within him. When he was running around in a circle, the electricity from his body releases around him, which caused an energy surge which pretty much EMP'd the whole of the Pacific Northwest and caused a power outage across the whole town. This feat was calced around the 52.43 to the 62.63 megatons of TNT, aka city level. Shoutouts to Tyler, he made this calc, so this is a really good calc folks. So easily movie Sonic, some city level stuff in base, now we can take it higher. Another impressive feat for Sonic comes from the power that comes from Sonic's quill. Eggman used just one of Sonic's quills to power up a machine which shoots out a giant laser which creates a giant AoE which can be seen from space. There are some different calcs and ranges, and this was calced around the island level. There was also another calc for large country to moon level. However, the moon level and large country calcs are optional. It's up to you whether you agree with them or not. So if you want to just, lowball the feat, you can stick with island level. That's also a safe range that was accepted by Versus Battle Wiki. So regardless, even if we downgrade this, island level is very impressive, and that's just one of Sonic's quills, which is very impressive. Now, before I talk about Super Sonic, I must talk about the Chaos Emeralds and the Master Emerald. Eggman states that the Master Emerald will allow him to harness all of the negative forces of the universe. In the wrong hands, the Emerald could threaten all life in the universe. After Sonic defeated Eggman, Sonic gave up the power, and Tails states to Sonic that he was the most powerful hero in the universe with that power. Eggman was going to use the power of the Master Emerald to first enslave everyone to service his machines, then he will take control of Green Hill, the universe, and then the multiverse. Once Sonic turned into Super Sonic, he proceeded to casually intercept an attack from Eggman's giant robot, and then goes on to destroying the robot and defeating it effortlessly. Movie Super Sonic inverse wise is probably the strongest in the verse, so he's easily S tier, and if you take these statements seriously, Super Sonic would easily scale to universal, or you can argue some multiversal stuff. That is completely on the table, but I personally think universal is probably the safe bet, just to go with the safe route so we don't jump the table. So I think universal. Those statements are pretty consistent. There's a lot of statements for it, and it just makes more sense due to the consistent universal statements as mentioned. So if we stick with these feats only, then Super Sonic would scale very high into the lesser tiers of AP, which I have brought up already for base Sonic. So that's going to round up attack potency. I'm going to go ahead and move on to speed. Sonic, when he was a young hedgehog, states that he can travel across the entire island in less than 2 seconds. A calc was made for this statement, which was calced around the massively hypersonic ranges of speeds. Later on in the first Sonic movie, we see Sonic perceive a barrage of bullets and missiles which appear slow to him. This was all calced around the 2.9%, and another calc was done for this feat, calculating it around the 6.3% the speed of light, aka subrelativistic plus. As for higher end scaling, the feat that Sonic performed in the first movie, where he caused a widespread power outage, Tails notes that the energy reached all the way to his home planet. This was calced around 81 million times the speed of light, aka massively hypersonic plus. So as for the overall ranges, Sonic, even as a kid, had massively hypersonic reaction speed and travel speed. When he gets older, he demonstrates he can react to bullets and missiles so fast that everything looks like a standstill and things just look completely slow to him, which would put him in the subrelativistic ranges or subrelativistic plus, depending on what calcs you use. And the higher end scaling for Sonic comes from the speed and the energy that traveled light speed to Tails' planet, which would put Sonic in the massively faster than light plus ranges of speed, which is very impressive for movie Sonic. There is also a statement for Tails noting that Sonic is the fastest creature in the galaxy, so there's some statements and just general feats to kind of back up Sonic's prominent speed feats, which is very impressive. Now, there are some other low end speed feats for Sonic. You know, he can casually run up to around the 300 miles per hour range. He can casually blitz bear traps before they can even activate, and Sonic is fast enough to use a screwdriver to deconstruct a moving truck, slowing it down to a halt. So he has some casual low end speed feats to that caliber, which is very impressive even for base Sonic. So there's some really nice ranges for Sonic you can take him, so it's just up to your own interpretation. Now, that's going to pretty much round up his stats. I'm going to move on and talk about some of his abilities. So due to Sonic being a speedster, Sonic runs so fast everything appears slow to him in his perception. While moving at high speeds, Sonic can use inertia on his opponents. While using inertia, he can also interact with bullets and missiles and move hazards out of the way. Sonic has the ability where he can generate power from his body and use it to make him run faster, such as the time in the second movie he charged himself up to run across the ocean. He can also generate this energy in order to attack his opponents with a spin dash and homing attack, or he can lace his fists with his energy. Sonic can also fire lightning from his hands. You can also argue for Sonic having some energy absorption, since he did try to absorb some of the energy back from Eggman's drone. His energy can also be argued to be EMP, so just due to the fact that it caused a power outage, you can argue some, power nullification for like devices and electronics. Dr. Eggman's analysis machine demonstrates that the energy coming from Sonic's quill is unlimited. Sonic uses his speed to run around in a circle around Eggman's drone to cause a small sandstorm so that Sonic can run away. Sonic also carries a small bag of rings, folks. The rings open up a portal to any location that the person thinks of. Sonic uses these rings to do so in order to travel to different places and worlds. He's shown to use these rings in combat situations to try and escape his opponent. He can BFR them, or he's used it to save his friends and allies. Lastly, Sonic's transformation, called Supersonic. Once Sonic activated the 7 Chaos Emeralds, he turned into Supersonic. This form gave him the ability to fly, gave him incredible power and speed, and due to how the emeralds work, the user can manifest thoughts into reality, also shown by Sonic when he summoned a chili dog. So in this form, Sonic can want reality, which is pretty impressive. Okay, so that's going to round up both these combatants. I'm going to go ahead, give my thoughts on who I think wins more often than not in a CrossFit situation. Now, looking at both their scaling, even if we use the lowest scaling and the lowest end for Sonic the Hedgehog, he is just vastly above Quicksilver when it comes to attack potency. Easily Sonic has building, city block, city level scaling, and get into the island level ranges, moon level. He has some really good calcs and just higher overall AP scaling. Speed, however, easily Sonic is faster. Now if you downplay Sonic and only use like the subrelativistic stuff, then Quicksilver is a little bit more faster than Sonic. However, it's pretty consistent when Sonic is not holding back, and when he's actually trying, he can easily reach the massively faster than light ranges in terms of speed. Overall, In terms of stats, he's just going to completely speed blitz Quicksilver and one-shot him, no difficulty. There's just nothing that Quicksilver can do unless Sonic starts being casual and he's just messing about in the fight. But more often than not, I see Sonic pretty much going in and just homing attacking his ass and then just taking him out. Sonic has other ways to win. He can definitely create some tornadoes. You know, he uses rings, he has other hexes, and there's the supersonic form. I don't really think those things are really necessary in this fight. I think Sonic has everything he needs to dispatch of Quicksilver more often than not. So I gotta give victory to Sonic. Better stats, better AP, better speed feats. Anything Quicksilver can do, Sonic the Hedgehog can do vastly better. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please leave a like, comment down below, and of course, subscribe for further content. It's been real. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.